Happy holidays and welcome to a special edition of Sports Jam. I'm Jay Wilcox.
And I'm John Jacobson. We meet a lot of great athletes and great kids in this job. And today I look back at some of our favorite Sports Jam spotlight stories from the year 2012. Perhaps best known for football, DJ Hebert's four-year high school career ended with a championship on the basketball court for Osseo. We caught up with DJ late in the basketball season last winter. Teams sometimes struggle to find leaders. Not so for the Osseo basketball and football teams the last couple of years. DJ Hebert has filled the role exceptionally.
The big thing when he's on the court and on the field is DJ doesn't get phased. You know, we could be down 4 touchdowns or up 4 touchdowns, and he looks like the same player out there. You're not seeing him getting mad and throw his hands around, and he just comes over and says, hey, what's the next play? And he tells the kids, too, hey, let's go, let's get after it, and let's do the right things. And he understands. He's been around, you know, 4-year varsity starter. That's what happens.
He's an aggressive kid. He's an emotional kid. He's a leader. And he displayed those emotions and qualities right away from day one last year. So we've been very, very fortunate that he's been one of our vocal leaders over the past 2 years.
I feel like with most leaders, they're either they show you, like, a lead by example, or they tell you what to do. He does both. He'll tell you how to do it, he'll show you how to do it, and then once you start getting it, he encourages you, and then he actually compliments you. I feel like a lot of people don't do all that in one, but he has all of it. Like, if he was a coach, he'd probably be one of my best coaches, I think.
Hebert is averaging 11.5 points per game for a talented and balanced scoring Orioles squad. He's converted on 40% of his three-pointers and is a tough defender. Basketball is a sport that hasn't come easy for DJ.
Oh, definitely. Oh, my God, definitely. If I worked as much as I did for football, then I'd probably not even be on the team this year. I honestly would have to work so hard to be good at basketball. It just doesn't come to me as easy as football. So, but I mean, I like it. I like it a lot. I mean, basketball, I started playing basketball before I did football.
The sport that DJ calls his bread and butter is football. A two-time all-conference quarterback for the Orioles, he helped lead Osseo to its best back-to-back season since the mid-1990s. Hebert throwing, completes to Johnson, going for the end zone. Touchdown, Cooper! But DJ's prep career started at Cooper, where he played 2 seasons of football and basketball for the Hawks. He still answers questions about the move to Osseo.
We were already about to move. We were planning on moving because just the place we were in were too small. My little brother, my mom wanted him to have a yard. We lived in a townhome in Robbinsdale. He didn't really have nowhere to play and stuff like that, so we wanted like a house that had somewhere for him to play. And then, you know, it just ended up that, you know, Osseo was a good place for me to fit in. It was definitely hard, you know. I mean, everybody knows there wasn't nothing personal, you know, so, I mean, it was definitely a hard decision. I still go back. I went to go see the Cooper versus Hopkins game. So, you know, I still go back and hang out with those guys still, so it's all good.
DJ initially split time between wide receiver and quarterback as a freshman. He remembers his first game back in August of 2008.
I was 14 playing against 18-year-old boys, so it was definitely a changing experience.
That experience gained as a 9th grade quarterback helped shape his role as a leader.
That definitely influenced it a lot because, you know, it's really, really tough for an upperclassman to let a freshman come in and kind of be that man, you know, that guy, you know, and especially running the veer, everything runs through the quarterback. So, I mean, it was definitely tough looking everybody in the eye, you know, telling them, you know, kind of what to do.
The best player on Cooper football teams that lost more games than they won, DJ found something different when he came to Osseo.
At Osseo, you know, Jameer and Joey and Sam Connor were here last year, and they just definitely spreaded the wealth. You know, I'm not a selfish guy. I really just like to win. So, I mean, it was a great experience. They helped me, you know, really see what it's like to be a Division I athlete, you know, being around guys like that. I wasn't around people like that at Cooper, so just seeing their work ethic, you know, the way they do things, and just kind of being able to be in an environment with them was definitely helpful. It helped me grow as a player.
Hebert thrived as a passing quarterback for Osseo in the fall of 2010, throwing for 19 touchdowns and nearly 1,800 yards, while also rushing for 8 scores. After a loss to open the season, the 2011 Orioles reeled off 9 straight wins before losing for a 2nd straight season to Wayzata in the section championship. But the offense was different, with more of an emphasis on the running game.
We had so many different running backs. You know, you had Timmy Searcy-Bridge, you know, and me were running the ball. It was just difficult because it was such a different team from last year, and that just goes to show how good of a Coach Lamper is because he just plays the, you know, what he has. You know, he plays to his personnel.
In early February, DJ signed to play college football at the University of Northern Iowa. But UNI is still several months away. Right now, DJ Hebert wants to make sure this Osseo basketball team gets back to the state tournament.
We want to win it. You know, we last year we came this close to getting there, losing to Eden Prairie. So, and a lot of those players from last year on the team this year. So, you know, we definitely want to be on that in the Target Center again. We definitely want to win it. It's always a disappointment if you don't win it all.
Of course, Osseo went on to beat Hopkins and Lakeville North and back-to-back thrillers to win the Class 4A basketball title in March. Hebert redshirted this fall as a freshman football player at Northern Iowa. DJ's certainly a great two-sport athlete, Jay.
And I think he was also one of the better interviews in recent years that we've had, too. I told him he was probably in our top 10 as far as most interviewed players in the last decade or so here. When we come back on Sports Jam, a look back at a Champlin Park athlete who carved her own path after following in the footsteps of a famous sibling. Welcome back to Sports Jam. This next story features a player who had famous hockey-playing siblings.
Kara Wendell was a very good hockey player at Champlin Park, too, but maybe even better in lacrosse. Jason Milillo brought us her story.
You can use one word to describe why Kara Wendell is so good on the lacrosse field.
Fast.
She's so fast.
Wendell scored 71 goals and 86 points last season, leading the Rebels to their best record ever. And Wendell has been a scoring machine again this spring, and Champlin Park is undefeated.
Just knowing that we have a lot of our returning players just gives us that much more confidence that we can achieve what we wanted to do last year and didn't quite. And also that we're in a new section definitely helps having some different competition going into the state tournament, which is our goal this year.
Some people might recognize the Wendell name because of what Kara's older sister, Chrissy Wendell, did on the hockey rink.
Back pass intercepted by Wendell. Chrissy coming in, goes to the backhand, and she scores!
Yeah, that Chrissy Wendell. Miss Hockey in 2000 after leading Park Center to a state title. Two-time NCAA champion with the Gophers. 2004 Kazmaier Award winner as the best women's collegiate hockey player. And two-time Olympic medalist for Team USA. A lot of times, just by virtue of having the same last name, a younger sibling like Kara might feel pressure to live up to what Chrissy did. But Kara says she hasn't felt that pressure.
I feel like a lot of people think that there would be, but there's not really that much. I think a big part of it is that she is so much older than me. So it does help that some of the people who knew her are starting to like outgrow that. It's a little bit more of the older generation. But even the people that do, they're good about knowing that like my name's Kara, her name's Chrissy. So I think people are pretty good about it and they respect that like I'm my own person.
And making her name as a lacrosse player has probably helped Kara carve out her own athletic identity. Kara did also play on the Champlin Park hockey team, but ever since freshman year, lacrosse has been her sport.
Kind of one of those sports that she kind of wanted to try out and basically fell in love with it and has done really well with it. So it's fun to watch her, like I said, pave her own way and kind of have her own thing.
I think one thing is that it's a little bit of a newer sport. So when you say you're going to college to play lacrosse, they're like, oh, that's a newer sport, it's up and coming. Like, it's something I started freshman year and I really fell in love with it, especially like the team, the girls. I love that it's so fast paced and you go from playing offense 1 second to defense the other. And like midfielders, they play both offense and defense. You're not like in hockey, you're either offense or defense. So I like that you can play everything.
Kara will attend Lindenwood University in St. Charles, Missouri this fall. Lindenwood has recently transitioned many of its sports from the NAIA level to the NCAA. That new opportunity and challenge attracted Kara to the school.
Well, I first found it because my head coach is really good friends with their head coach, and I had Googled it and did my little background research, and it seemed like an awesome school. So I went down there as an unofficial, and I really fell in love with the school. It's definitely a school, it's very kind of new compared to some schools. So they have I know a lot of their sports are just becoming like division sports. And so I think they're really gonna be a big school that people are gonna be like, oh, you went to Lindenwood? Like, people don't really hear about it now, but I think it'll definitely be a bigger school in the upcoming future.
Lindenwood will compete in Division II for lacrosse, but Division I for ice hockey. And Kara plans to play both sports. Lacrosse is a no-brainer. Hockey? She's a Wendell, right?
Kara Wendell was last year's Athena Award winner for Champlin Park High School. Of course, her older brother, Eric, played at Park Center in Maple Grove, and then was a national champion with the Gopher hockey team, men's hockey team.
Yeah, great hockey family. And of course, her sister Chrissy is now coaching girls hockey with her husband, Johnny Pohl, at Cretin-Durham Hall. Well, Maple Grove's football team took a big step forward this season, winning a conference title. We caught up with a versatile weapon for the Crimson. He's certainly a Jack, or in this case, Bryson, of all trades. Maple Grove's Bryson White does a little bit of everything for the Crimson.
Wide receiver. Cornerback. Quarterback. Punt returner. Kicker. I've always grown up being that guy who plays defense, offense, kicking. It's just everything I've loved to do. I just always like to be as involved in the team as I can be, just to help us win.
Anytime you can have a kid that can kick, and pretty much he's a good punter too. He haven't done that, and he can pass, and he can play DB, and he's a great playground kid. And I think for our personality and what we do, we kind of want him to have fun and sell. That's kind of a big thing for us. So he's a perfect fit for what we do, and he accepts any role we give him. So it's been great. He's been very unselfish from day one, so it's been awesome.
White is a very good kicker, as well as excelling at defensive back and as a return man. It's as a wide receiver that he really stands out, though, teaming with Jake Winicky to give the Crimson a potent tandem.
It's really coming along really great. I mean, we have him doing all the long routes that he can just beat anybody deep. And then they got me all doing the intermediate routes and all the motions, and just our offense just coming together really nicely. And so far, it's been really nice.
And his quarterback sure appreciates what Bryson, who's one of the leading pass catchers in the Metro, does for the offense.
And a lot of it's because of his routes, his hands, and just his overall IQ for the game. He's able to run routes deep. He can go up and get the fade ball. He can run underneath, catch the slants, the hitches, and he's really everything you want out of a receiver, especially because he can go in motion and get handoffs. He's really like he's like the Percy Harvin of our team. He can do everything for us.
When White joined the varsity as a sophomore, it wasn't an especially good time in the Crimson football program. They made strides last year with new coach Matt Lombardi and have been exceptional this fall.
Everyone's just way more prepared, and they love to go into games now because they're more confident. And just overall, the atmosphere just around the school and around our team is just so much more positive than it has been.
When you have a player doing as much as White, there are times when he'll need a break.
It happened last week against Sunoco. We used him a lot on both the run and the pass, and there was one possession I saw him punt returning, and he kind of got battered around, and we went to a double tight look just to give him a few plays off, and that was literally why we did it. And so I think there's times you do that, but he's a pretty tough kid. He's got a little Forrest Gump in him. He can go forever, I think.
As good as he's become as a football player, Bryson's pretty good as a basketball player too, starting at point guard since his freshman year. That included a surprising run to the state tournament and a memorable meeting with Osseo in his sophomore season.
It was good to play in front of all those fans. It was energizing, and to play our crosstown rivals, that was pretty good experience too. But it's definitely a feeling I want back again, to go back to the Target Center and play in the state tournament.
He's not sure which sport he'll choose when it comes time for college. White, as football coach, thinks he could excel on the gridiron.
A kid a couple of years ago I coached named Aaron Roth, was a very, very good kind of receiver, very similar to him, and he's starting his first year at Duluth, and he's kind of tearing it up there. And Bryson reminds me of him a lot. I think he's one of those kids that no matter where he goes, I have a feeling he'll end up playing.
I would be open with either option. There's not really a certain plan right now, but I'm open to either choice if it comes along.
And it's intercepted. This one looks like it could go for the touchdown. White takes it, and he is gone.
White caught 59 passes for 722 yards and 5 TDs for the Crimson this season. And, John, of course, Bryson is a big part of the Crimson basketball program again this winter.
And he is leading the Crimson in scoring so far, averaging 16 points per game. Stay with us. Next up, the story of an unsung contributor to a powerhouse football program. Matey didn't play a single down for the Totino Grace football team this fall, but the 16-year-old's determination off the field was inspiration to his teammates. We caught up with him for this late fall Sports Jam Spotlight story.
He is one of those behind-the-scenes kids who is vital to the success of virtually any high school athletic program. 16-year-old Matey is one of 2 managers for the Totino Grace football program. The high school junior is a jack of all trades at practice and before, during, and after games.
There's a lot of stuff in a football program, just a lot of stuff, field equipment and personal equipment, locker room stuff. And so we have 2 great managers, he and Ben Olson, who's a senior, and they do a great job for us.
We get all the players ready, we give them tape, we get all the water ready and stuff and get them on the field. And I'm usually the ball boy at the game, so I take care of that.
Matham's been around the Eagles program for a long time. His older brother Ibrahim was a wide receiver for Grace. To Matham, nothing beats game night.
I love it. The atmosphere is great. Players are awesome to be around. Coaches are just great. Everybody's just enthusiastic. Let's go! I love watching football, especially high school football. This is that first stage where it's just awesome to watch, and you just get to see the players up close, and you get to be around them, and it's awesome.
Matham says he would have loved to have followed his brother's footsteps and wear the navy and gold on Friday nights, but his health won't allow it.
So when I was 5 years old, I was diagnosed with hypertension, and throughout my life, I've had angiograms and surgeries.
At the Mayo Clinic in 2007, Matham had surgery on his right renal artery. In 2009, a narrowing of his aorta was discovered, which prompted another surgery. After what he called a healthy 2010, some of the symptoms associated with his illness returned last year.
Every day I'm usually feeling symptoms. At least once a day I'll get a headache and stuff, and I just be out of it. My calf sting is usually a symptom that can't be taken care of unless I do have surgery. So whenever I run and stuff, it's always an issue that comes.
Yet through all his struggles, his coaches and teammates say he never complains.
Our players just like him because he's a good guy. I mean, what's not to like? And we respect him because he's tough. He's shown that kind of toughness that football players admire.
We always try to make him feel welcome, and we all like him. And we don't try to treat him any different just because he maybe has something wrong with him, but we just try to treat him as one of the guys.
Last year I missed quite a bit of games and quite a bit of practices, and the days that I could come, football was a big reason why I was coming. I really loved being around the players. They were just so awesome to be around, and they were just asking me how am I doing, and coaches are so loving and stuff, and they're just so caring. They just were like, how's it going? Can we do anything for you?
Visits to a series of doctors in 3 states over the years has produced one positive for this Brooklyn Park teen, a career path.
I think I've had a lot of experience with it, and I've seen all kinds of doctors, and I'm just happy all my doctors have been great and stuff. And I think, I don't know, it's just a very interesting field for me. I don't know, just the way everything works.
The missed days of school and the aches and pains get old. But in the end, Matham knows he's surrounded by his best friends.
It gets really frustrating, and gets even more frustrating when I'm missing out on football games and stuff. It's a big reason why I love coming to TG and stuff. And but coaches and players and football team, my school, they're all holding me up. So it's great.
Totino Grace, of course, rolled to the Class 5A championship. Matham is having a surgical procedure done to relieve some of his symptoms and pains. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to our year-end edition of Sports Jam. Champlain Park's girls tennis program got a lot better over the past couple of seasons, and a senior captain was right in the middle of it all. She's a leader, to be sure, but Champlain Park girls tennis co-captain Riley Abe-Sacra is also glad to be just one of the girls on a true team.
It's definitely fun to be a part of, because we hear about some other schools who all the girls are just like, they don't even like each other, and so it's just nice to have other schools kind of look at us and be like, wow, I wish we could be a team like them, and just we all get along, so it's really great.
Riley and her classmates have been part of a big turnaround for Rebels girls tennis. From 3-13 a couple of years ago to 13-7 in the section semifinals last season to a 6-3 start this year.
We've all been on the same team for a few years now, so it's definitely nice kind of progressing like that from a few years ago, and then last year we had a good season, so hopefully this season will just be that much better than last.
Abe-Sacra plays #1 singles for Champlain Park. It's her 3rd season in that spot, and it means facing some really tough competition, including several top 10 ranked players. Her personal record suffers, but that's all part of it.
She gets to pull those top players from around the state. She's played at least 3 players this year in the top 10. And so by leading our team, she allows everybody else to be that much more successful, because she takes on those big guns and allows her teammates the chance of winning lower matches for the team.
Every school always has like that one good person, and that's usually the person that I end up having to play. So I mean, I like it just because I get to play the good competition and it helps me get better. But then it's also tough, you know, having that tough schedule and not maybe getting as many wins as I would like, but just kind of helping the team out by knocking out the number 1.
While she's not a heavy hitter, Riley's become a very solid player.
She's great at the baseline, and she has a good serve too, you know. She's just very consistent, which is different than a lot of players. Like, she will get the ball in most of the time.
On this close-knit team, being a captain is important to Abe Sekra, and her work doesn't go unnoticed.
She just comes up with like the little things, like we have a sick player, and she put together a care package for her, just like out of nowhere yesterday. She had a card, she had candy, and it was, I don't know how she comes up with it, but she's really caring.
Being a captain means scheduling fun things like movie night under the stars on the tennis court.
It was a ton of fun, just having everybody here and just laying on blankets and watching a movie and bonding, and can't ask for much more than that.
Riley's following in the footsteps of her older sister Bailey, who played for the Rebels and now is on the tennis team at Gustavus.
It's definitely helpful having that one person there who's kind of already been through it, so then she could kind of show me the ropes and be like, okay, this is what you do, this is what you don't want to do. And I mean, just having her, we've both played since 6th grade, and so when she played in 6th grade, that's kind of when I started getting acclimated to tennis, so I was only in 3rd grade, so I've just kind of developed along with her, so it's definitely helped my game.
The life of Riley includes a spot as a percussionist in the Rebels Symphonic Band.
I've been in that since 6th grade, so about my 6th year doing that, and it's always fun, so doing all the little different things that kind of make it sound cool, and it's always fun being known as the one who's like making all the cool noises back there.
She also writes for the Rebel Times school newspaper and is part of the Rebel Senate. Back to tennis, where the Rebels beat Elk River for the first time last week, and they hope even bigger things are ahead.
It's like a good feeling just knowing that we can beat Elk River, which has never been done in school history. So now that we have that behind us, we can kind of move forward and say, well, hey, we beat them, so why can't we beat anyone else in the conference? And it's just, I don't know, it makes the opportunities endless.
The Rebels advanced to the semifinals in Section 5AA before losing to Centennial. Riley lost in the first round of Section singles play. We'll be back with some final thoughts in a moment.
Follow 12 Sports replays and live events on Twitter, Facebook, and Livestream. Watch your favorite high school athletes performing live on your computer or mobile device. Link to us on 12.tv.
This stage is nowhere near Broadway, and none of these actors will be accepting an Oscar anytime soon. Still, they are rehearsing for something important. While they learn their lines, they're also learning teamwork, discipline, self-confidence, that everyone has a part to play. Skills that will make them stars long after the curtain falls. The National Federation of State High School Associations reminds you that when kids take part in high school activities, they get set for life.
That brings this holiday edition of Sports Jam to a close. Thanks to all the athletes who took the time to talk with us this year for our Sports Jam Spotlight Stories.
And we will be back with our regular Sports Jam show the week of January 7th. Have a happy holiday season.
Take time this holiday season to support your local food shelf. Find out more about food shelves near you by visiting 12.tv.